All right. Well, hey. If anybody is in the stream right now, welcome to our opening night of season 1 of the Casual Esports Amateur League. This is Scattercat. I will be one of the casters for tonight's game. Along with me is Randomonium.
Hey, we've had
And
a nugget emergency, so we're waiting on one player, and we'll be getting in the game shortly.
yeah, I'm pretty excited about this. First game of the season. Pretty pumped. Randomonium. Let's just talk a little bit about this season, this opening game that we got going on here, because we got one team that has players from last season, some new players, but some returning players, and then we have the opposing team for them, all new players, completely new team here. So let's just what are your thoughts going into this? Comparing these two teams.
Well, I definitely think that the team that has played together in the past, or has played in this league in the past, always has the advantage. And I think that it's going to be a rude awakening for some of the new players coming into the league on how team play differs from solo queue. But hopefully, it's a positive learning experience for them. It's early in the season still, and sometimes it's good to get these tough matches out of the way, so that way you can work together and get that motivation to improve your communication.
Yeah, no, that's some good advice. Always use your matches as a learning experience. Even if you win, there's always something that you can learn from these games here. One thing I wanted to point out though is that I don't know. Maybe you would have an idea, but Amber 02. I don't know if that's a full team of friends or people that are used to playing with each other or not. But that is something that Team Support Main or TSM, that is something in favor of them. Is that like they are used to playing with each other? They do all know each other. So
Well,
I
that's
don't know.
definitely a positive. We'll see if it's enough to counterbalance the potential experience/skill mismatch that they're going up against on Amber's side. But
Yeah,
yeah,
and
this should be an interesting match in the Demacian division. I guess we should probably say we have 4 divisions, right? Each division has at least 6 teams, and we'll be trying to do these matches at least once a week, preferably multiple times a week if we have enough people to cast.
preferably, yeah, I would love that. So yeah, just one thing I want to say here is just kind of looking at everything on paper leading into this game. Just a few matchups that I think might be really interesting to watch. Up in the top lane, we have we have ATX Gamer 24 versus Nico Lilly, and their ranks are actually pretty similar to each other. So I think that's actually going to be a pretty close matchup in top lane. That's what I'm going to want to be very interested in keeping my eyes on.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I have no idea what to expect out of the mid lane matchup, one way or the other. No clue what's going to happen there. And then in the bot lane, on paper, it would seem like Zeralon and Animal for Amber 02 have the advantage because they have played with each other before. They have experience playing on a team with each other. So I think they would have the edge down in the bot lane. But again, maybe I'm wrong, and maybe TSM. I don't want to call them TSM because like this isn't the LCS, but that is Team Support Main. It is short for their team. Maybe they just have like so many games under their belts playing with each other that like maybe like that level of trust and communication between them gives them like an equal footing. I don't know. I really have no idea how bot lane's gonna go.
Yeah, I think the team support main their best advantage is probably in the top lane. It's gonna be interesting to see how the jungler's path. But it looks like Nico Lily likes to play a lot of those ranged bully top laners. So I would expect her to pick one of those up, and I would hope that the jungler would try to funnel some resources into that top lane to try and get it snowballing.
Yeah, that would be my game plan going into this if I was on that team. It would be like, hey, let's just get our top laner fed. Let's go through top lane. Give that player either a tank that does a lot of damage like Garen, or give them a hyper carry top lane option. And we're just gonna play through top lane and just do that. Um, no idea if that is their game plan or not. No idea if that's something that they have discussed going to this match, but I don't know. I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, definitely. And if I was on Amber's side as far as the jungler, I would definitely be prioritizing either mid lane or bot lane. Probably mid lane, and then unlock mid lane to roam towards bot side.
Yep, that is also a good game plan for them. I agree with that. Oh, and we're getting into the picks and bans. Bans have already started coming out here in game number 1. Amber02 going with the Kennen ban, and TSM responds with Silas. Silas being pretty strong out of the jungle.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he can also be played in top or mid lane. Jungle just seems to be where everybody prefers him right now.
So both ATX Gamer, who's the top laner for Amber, and Kazooie, who's the mid laner, both have Silas in their champion pool. So it seems like a pretty good ban. But I left up the Katarina, which is Kazooie's like #1 pick in mid lane.
Yeah. Now, from my point of view on the Katarina is that, you know, if they want to pick Katarina, let them, because there are a million champs that have CC to lock Katarina down the second she tries to use her ultimate. You know, for me personally, I don't consider Katarina a threat, but depending on how Kazooie plays Katarina, you know, that might change some minds.
So interesting pickup from Amber going with the Kane. This is one of Team Support Main's junglers, like his most played junglers. He's actually traditionally plays more AD carry, so I think that's more of a steal than a power pick for on the side of Amber02. And the Shen is ATX Gamer's #1 top laner, so they're locking in a power pick in top lane. But Team Support Main's got the Caitlyn Leona. That's a very powerful all-in style of lane. So that's pretty scary on the bot side of the map. But I do like this Nautilus counter pick from Animal on the side of Amber02. I think Nautilus plays pretty well into the Leona.
Yeah, I agree with that. I really like the balls on TSM. They're picking up the Leona Caitlyn right away, and they follow it up with picking Vel'Koz. And Vel'Koz, I mean, I wouldn't say that Vel'Koz is like a power pick for mid lane, but Vel'Koz's ultimate alone, if he stays safe in a team fight, you know, if Leona goes in, you know, to start a team fight, Vel'Koz can stay safe and just get that ultimate off. Like, it can do a ton of damage to that team there. So
yeah, Vel'Koz is Sunshine's most played champion, so I think that's definitely a comfort pick for her. So I would expect to see AD carry bands or mid lane bands on the side of Team Support Main, and then the jungle bands or the top lane bands coming out from Amber in this second part of the ban phase.
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see a mid lane ban here for TSM's final ban. I would almost question, you know, if it is another AD carry ban, I would almost question why they're just letting mid lane pick whatever they want.
Yeah, I would expect a Nocturne ban here actually from Amber. Ooh, they're gonna go for the Kale instead. Interesting.
Ooh.
They could have completely taken out all of Team Support Main's jungler's picks, because all he really plays is the Kayn, Nocturne, Rengar, and a little bit of Jax, but that's mainly a top lane Jax. But those are going to go
Yeah.
with the Udyr for
Ooh,
jungle.
okay. All right. I can respect that. I can respect that pick. You know, they're thinking Udyr and Leona just rush in to start a team fight and everybody else backs them up.
And there's
So,
the
you know,
Katarina coming in from Amber02. That is their
there it
best mid
is.
laner.
There it is. So
Ooh,
the
and
good
Xayah in
news.
front of
Ooh, that's an interesting AD carry pick. I like it, but it's interesting. So here's the good news for TSM. The Katarina is kind of a big deal because yes, their mid laner plays Katarina, good on Katarina. But they have 1, 2, 3, now 4 champions that have really good CC to stop Katarina's ultimate.
That's true.
So it's not like they're unprepared for the Katarina. It's not as if they didn't plan for this.
Mm-hmm.
They're confident that what they have can stop Katarina, which is why they let Katarina go through and didn't ban her.
Yes, I think that sounds like it was their plan. Is they want to draft a CC heavy comp and hope that they can prevent the Katarina from getting too far ahead in laning phase and then shut her down in the team fights later on.
Yeah. So looking at these two teams here, do you have any thoughts on which team composition you prefer?
To be honest, I think they're both pretty equal. Um, I think it's really going to depend on the mid lane matchup. If this Katarina starts running away with the game, then she could really impact both top lane and bot lane. So I think that that's going to be probably the focus for Amber. And the Gnar, while a potentially a good um, carry champion, I was expecting potentially like the Nico or the Kennen instead, since that's more of the ability to impact those team fights in the map. So I don't know if funneling a ton of resources to the Gnar is going to pay off in the long run.
Yeah, no, that's a very good point. I mean, it, I guess the way that I guess the way that I look at this, I like all the CC that TSM has. I like the Leona pick. I like the Gnar pick. I like the Udyr. I like the Vel'Koz. I like the Caitlyn. I like how they all work together.
Mm-hmm.
Because you got three champs that want to go in melee range on the opposing team and put all that CC on them, and then you have two champs that want to stay back long range and stay safe and just put damage down. I like how I like how that looks on paper. Amber O2's comp just seems more of we're just going to pick champs that we're all comfortable with, even if the champs don't necessarily have like full synergy with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, I mean, maybe that's all. Maybe that's what they want. Maybe all they really wanted for the first game of the season was to just pick comfort champs so that like they would at least feel comfortable going into the match. I don't know, but Shen definitely has some potential using his ultimate to save people if they get caught out. Nautilus has a lot of engage potential, along with Kane going in and then Katarina following up with her ultimate. They have a lot of engage potential, but if TSM plays all their CC properly, all that engage potential is just going to go to waste.
So one thing that I think is really important to notice is that team support main significantly outranges Amber O2 in a lot of different ways. They've got the ranged top laner, Caitlyn with the longest range among AD carries, Vel'Koz being an artillery mage. So team support main doesn't need to initiate the fight. They can basically bide their time and poke, and it's really on Amber O2 to try and make the engage. And if you've got the Udyr and the Leona basically sitting on top of the Caitlyn and the Vel'Koz, it's going to be very hard to try and get in and burst them.
Mm-hmm. No, that's I agree with that. I agree with that. If that was my team with that team comp, that's exactly what I would tell my team. Is like, this is our game plan. We're never going to engage. We're going to win until one of them engages on us, and then we go full ham and ruin that player's life.
Yeah, pretty much. Or if you get just like a massive like health advantage because you poke them down, then you can look for the engage, but never fight when you're on equal health and equal people.
Yeah, basically. So yeah, so we got a bit of a spicy first game, I think, on our hands here. You know, it depending on if Katarina just gets to go off and roams to top or bot lane to get a couple of early kills or assists, or if she gets going early, this could be one fiesta of a game. If she doesn't get going early, we might see this game go a little longer. It might be a 40-minute game if Katarina doesn't get to go off at all.
I think that Amber O2 does need to win the early game. This is the way that they drafted their comp. I do agree with you that they were definitely going more for laning phase and going into matchups that they felt like they could win. I think that if the laning phase ends and both teams are roughly even on gold, then team support main definitely has the advantage going into those mid and late game team fights if they position correctly around objectives.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw, like, as soon as Shen and Katarina hit 6, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Katarina and Kane both roam bot lane for a gank, and then Shen ultimates in, so we have a 5-man bot lane to take first tower. I wouldn't be surprised if they do that at level 6.
Definitely. But this is the Demacian division, and executing those tower dives are very hard to do. It requires a lot of team communication. And this early in the season, I don't know if these teams are going to be able to execute those kind of tower dives.
Yeah, no, that's a good fair point. I mean, don't knock on Demacia, but yeah, it's true that doing
Let me put
those
it this
events.
way: in any division besides perhaps Ionian, tower dives are a major concern, and that includes
Hey,
my division as well.
nobody's Bronze 5 age in this division, right? That they're not in this division anymore.
Yeah, they're
uh,
not allowed to what's a sandbag anymore. They got to actually play in the division that they belong in.
Yep. All right. Yeah, somehow they got promoted, They but then again, they did get second place last season, so it's not like they don't know how to play. It's not like they can't play. uh so yeah, I don't want to spring a trap on you here with my questioning right away, but you know what, let's follow the LCS style of analyzing these games.
Mm-hmm.
How do you predict the series is going to go here?
I think that Amber 2 on paper is the stronger team. I think that the only way that Team Sport Main has uh, I think their best win condition is if they have better macro. But they're such a wild card. I don't know if they have it or not because they don't have that many games in their match history. Looking at CS numbers and KDAs and things like that, they don't look all that impressive. So I definitely think it's a huge question mark. I'm curious to see how they play out the early game because it looks like Amber 2 is trying to play around the early game. It's looking to basically try to stomp the laning phase as hard as possible and make a fast game.
Yeah, win lane, win game, right?
Yeah.
That's a comp you can go with if you want.
Yep. So yeah, I think it's really going to come down to Team Support Main's ability to weather the storm and work their macro because I don't think they have the advantage in the experience or skill side of things, at least from a ranking perspective, except maybe in the top lane.
All right, all right. So are you thinking 2-0 for Amber? Or are you thinking 1-1? The team split the two games tonight. What are you thinking?
I think it's going to be a 2-0 Amber unless Team Support Main pulls out some pretty amazing synergy this
All
early in the
right,
season.
all right, all right. Well, I kind of agree with you on a lot of your points. A lot of the things that you said there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going to be I'm not going to be too long-winded in my analysis here. I would really look at that Katarina going off for Amber. If Katarina doesn't go off, they at least have some late game with Zaya to help
Mm-hmm.
them out. But
Yep.
Katarina at some point she just breaks even, and she's not going to get any better than she currently is. So you need her to pop off early.
Yep.
For TSM, you gotta hope that Caitlyn and Vel'Koz both get an early kill or assist so that they can, get a lead in their lane and then keep that lead going into the mid game. Do I think that's gonna happen? I don't know. It's a toss up. I could flip a coin, I don't know. I really have no clue how that's gonna go for them. But I want to be optimistic. I want to think that Amber 02 is going to come into this feeling good, like they already got it in the bag. And I want to think that TSM is like, nope, we're going to play our best. And we're going to surprise them with how well we play together. So I'm going to go with a very optimistic 1-1 split for this series.
I think that's completely fair because there's,
you know what, I
anything can happen in these games.
Yeah, exactly. Anything can happen in these games. I mean, even if it's not Demacia, if it's the Noxus division or whatever,
anything can happen in any division. Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
I've seen some crazy comebacks in this league so far.
Yeah, anything can happen. So I would love to see this go 1-1. I would love to see a brand new team like TSM getting that huge boost in their not ego, but a huge motivational boost, saying like, oh my god, we won one of our first games. That's amazing, and they carry that into the following weeks and into their practices. I would love to see that for them. At the
Mhm.
same time, though, I would have to imagine that going 1-1 wouldn't feel too great for the side of Amber 02, because they have players that played last season. They are expecting to go 2-0 today, right? So like I just want to see both teams play well in the end. I want to see both of these games be very entertaining. So as long as I get that, even if I'm wrong about my 1-1 prediction, I'm still happy to have entertaining matches for everybody to watch.
Yeah, I think that's definitely fair. Yeah, I think you're completely right in your assessment that Amber's looking for that 2-0. And I think Team Support Main would be happy with the 1-1. Um, yeah, I think it's really going to come down to, can they weather the storm in this first game? Because if this turns out to be a one-sided affair in game one, it's very hard to rally and come back in game two and center yourself and forget what happened in game one.
It's true. I mean, we have seen teams do that, but like, yes, it is very difficult, and that's true for like any esport or any sport.
Mm-hmm.
At any level, is that like the first game usually sets the tone, and it
Yep,
usually like unless you're very strong mentally, or you have somebody on the team that can recenter everybody else, it's usually hard to just get out of that mindset of like, oh man, we lost that first game, we suck, like, oh man, the second game's gonna be worse, or something like that. It's really hard to get out of that mindset. um
definitely.
we've seen teams do it in the past. I'm sure we'll see teams do it again this season, but especially at the start, it is kind of hard to avoid falling into that trap.
Now, another trap, though, is being overconfident. And that definitely could be something that if Amber winds up winning this game, if they come in and they're too cocky or they're too overconfident, that could open the door for TSM in game two.
Yeah, absolutely,
And we've
absolutely.
seen that happen many times before in this league as well.
So yeah, we're in the final stretch here, loading into the game. I'm really excited. I would love to see both of these teams try an invade strategy in the first game. Just go balls to the wall, all out, go ham. But I wouldn't be surprised if it was just line of scrimmage. Everybody watch openings in the jungle for an invade, and everybody just starts off on that. Um, I'd love to see it invade though right away, especially from TSM. I would love to see an invade right away, because they have a
Interesting.
lot of CC at level 1 that they could throw out there.
That is true. They do have quite a lot of CC. Um, yeah, I'm actually really curious. That actually could work pretty well.
I mean, they could have Vel'Koz take the knock up. Leona just takes the lance, because the lance still holds someone in place for like a split second. That's enough for Vel'Koz to get the knock up down.
Hmm. Or even just the slow from the Q
Or
on
even, yeah,
Vel'Koz would be
yeah.
fine. The problem is that a lot of times the CC abilities are not what the laners want to start with. Level 1 going into their lanes. Like, Udyr obviously doesn't want to start E in jungle. Vel'Koz doesn't want to start E in mid lane. So it's a question of how much do they want to commit to it.
I mean, I don't know, like whenever I have started off in a lane, like in a solo lane that way,
Hmm.
it hasn't normally mattered much. Like, yeah, you might lose some minions in the first wave, because you don't have that ability you really need at level 1, but you hit level 2 fast enough that I don't really think it's going to affect things too much. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking about it wrong. Maybe I'm thinking about it too aggressively, but all right. So we're getting into the game here. All right.
There we
I
go.
I got loaded in. We're good. We're
I
good.
am loaded in. Up and
So
a pause
yep,
right
we
off
get
the
a
bat.
pause right away. Somebody probably crashed on the loading screen. It happens. It wouldn't be a casual esports amateur league match without a pause.
Yep.
It happens every time. So hopefully this doesn't last too long. It's a very quick pause, I would hope. Hey, everybody in chat, type in who you think is going to win. You know, if you think that Amber02 is going to win, type in hashtag Amber win. If you think that TSM is going to win, hashtag TSM win. You know, just like this is the LCS with that one. But I want to see chat's predictions on who's going to take this first game.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I definitely think I want to talk about some summoner spell choices and keystone runes, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
AMO was bringing up in chat that Shen took grasp against a Gnar. He's going to have difficulty proccing that. So it's going to be interesting to see how effective he can be with his grasp.
I was not even paying attention to the Shen for the keystone there. So that's a good eye. Good pick.
Kane with the Conquer is pretty standard. Katarina with Electrocute Ignite is pretty standard. Zaya with Lethal Tempo, actually.
I like Lethal Tempo on.
That makes sense. Get the feathers down. And then going for the Ignite on the Nautilus as opposed to the Exhaust with Aftershock, which is pretty standard. On the red side, Gnar going Fleet Footwork. I think that's pretty standard. He looks like he's trying to do a sustain lane. I can't see what his secondary runes are. But yeah, and then Udyr press the attack, standard. Vel'Koz with Comet and Barrier, also standard. He also could have gone for the Exhaust to try and shut down the Katarina when she jumps in.
Yeah.
And then Caitlyn's pretty standard. Fleet Footwork with Heal, and Leona Ignite and Aftershock. So yeah, that's all pretty standard. So I think the only ones that are a little bit anomalous might be with the top laners, the Fleet Footwork on Gnar and the Grasp on Shen.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised about the Fleet Footwork on Gnar. I mean, then again, I'm not a top laner. It's a thing that the Koreans are experimenting with, and maybe it's becoming a viable way to play Gnar. I don't know for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I've
played Gnar with the press the attack, because then once you get the 3 attacks or abilities, then you basically get that global damage boost for the rest of your team.
Yep, that makes perfect sense. I like Sunshine's choice with Barrier though, on that Vel'Koz. If you're afraid of that Katarina coming in and messing with you, absolutely take that Barrier. Absolutely take it for the extra defense, especially if you're also worried about Kane having a really good gank on you at some point. Just have that extra defense just in case.
Oh yeah, definitely want to go with a defensive summoner spell. It's just a question of, do you go the Barrier, the Heal, or the Exhaust? And I think all are fine. They all have their pros and cons. Looks like there's not going to be any invade on either side. I like that Amber's doing the 5-point. Team support main is not doing a 5-point though, so that definitely is something that could be exploited in future games.
You're right. That's a good eye there. Thank you for pointing that out. I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have a glitch on my spectate mode, so I have to reload it here.
Mm-hmm.
None of the champions were loaded, so I literally couldn't see where. All right, I am getting caught back up again. I'm at 1 minute 20.
Me too. So we are synced up. We're good to go. Udyr starting topside. Kane starting on those Raptors. Pretty standard. We'll see if the Caitlyn tries to do a fake leash or if they want to get that early lane priority. Yeah, it looks like they're going to try and do a fake leash.
Good, I like that. Since Gnar also didn't take any damage, they won't actually know for sure where Udyr started. You can make an educated guess that he started red. Because I think Udyr gains more from red than he does from blue, but maybe. I'm not a jungler. Don't take my word for that.
I don't know if I agree with his pathing towards the Raptors, though. I think Krugs would be a much more efficient camp for Udyr to clear. And just skip the Raptors on your first clear, just because he doesn't have a lot of the AoE damage. Unless he's going Phoenix. I haven't been able to see which abilities he has.
Let me see if I can figure that out for you.
No, he's got Turtle Stance and Tiger, it looks like.
A little skirmishing going on top lane.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of skirmish. Gnar's going to heal up from that, no problem. I'm not worried about Gnar.
Yeah, I think that actually favored the Gnar because not only is he going to get Mega and regain some health, but he does have that extra sustain the fleet footwork. So I think he's
Yeah.
playing that lane pretty good right now.
Yeah, he can afford to be a little more aggressive than the Shen. He can afford to take a little more damage than the Shen just because of the Mega.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Yeah, see, he's already turning it around. And look at that C top lane already. He's already 10, even though he lost that trade early.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, missed the cannon. Yep, definitely hurts.
Yep. Not fun whenever you miss a cannon. I've felt the pain many times.
Kayn going for an early recall rather than trying to go for a scuttle crab.
Yeah, that's I don't know if I like that.
Mm-hmm. I guess he probably didn't feel safe because he didn't know which side Udyr started on, perhaps.
Maybe. Gnar continuing to just poke up there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Sunshine's got the right idea. Just playing it safe.
Yep.
I mean, just advice for Sunshine. Down by a lot of CS here. The deficit's pretty big, but Sunshine, even if you're down 50 CS, as long as you haven't died, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
The worst thing you can do is be down 50 CS and also have died at least a couple of times.
Yeah, definitely the CS disparity is pretty large in mid lane already. Engaged by the Nautilus. This looks like this is going to be a Xayah Nautilus favored. Ignites goes down, flashed by the Caitlyn. So definitely Zerlon and Animal pulling the trigger and getting out that flash and the heal in exchange for the Ignite. So some favorable summoner trade for Amber 02.
Yeah. So one thing I'm going to praise, I got to praise Nico Lily for this because as much as there's a deficit in mid lane, there's a larger deficit in CS up and top lane in favor of the Gnar. So good job on Nico Lily for really sticking it to this Shen, really making it difficult.
Yeah, that's why you pick those ranged top laners, is so you can try and bully that early game. It's going to be interesting to see if Shen's able to equalize once he hits level 6. But I do like the strategy of just constantly pushing this Shen in, so that way if he tries to use his ultimate bot lane, he's going to get punished. He's going to lose experience. He's going to lose farm. He's going to lose power plates.
Yep.
Very early Infernal Drake coming up. And I think they've got the damage in order to take it.
Yeah, that should be uncontested. Should be no issue for them.
That is a very fast Infernal Drake.
Yeah, Kayn is at half health, and Nautilus is lower than half health. So if TSM wants to be a little cheesy here, they could go for a kill on that Nautilus.
Unfortunately, the Udyr is top side, so I don't think they can really play around it that much. I wouldn't want to go for a 2v2. Katarina going in, good disengage by Sunshine.
Yep. Sunshine is just, he's rightfully afraid of the Katarina at this point, but he's only 20 CS down. It could be a lot worse.
Another engage from the Nautilus gets the Caitlyn. She doesn't have flash. This might be a kill. Yep, first blood going over to the Xayah. Katarina alling the Vel'Koz as well. Ignite is going down.
Okay, but he stays alive, and that's the important thing. He didn't even use his barrier. He still has that.
And he is going to pick up that wave underneath the tower. Udyr looks like he's going to try and go potentially for a dive. I don't know if you want to try and dive this Shen. He's got taunt available to him.
I want to see it. Though. Oh, but the Kayn is there. Udyr recognizes can't pull this off. He has to back off.
Yep.
Smart, conservative play. Like it. And for as much action as we've seen out of mid lane, out of top lane, nobody's died in either of those lanes. It's bot lane where any kills have happened, and it's only one. This is turning into a slower, more methodical game than I originally thought it would be.
Yeah, definitely. I like this control that we're seeing out of these teams. They're playing very measured. They're not going for any crazy plays. That's definitely what you want to see out of teams this early in the season.
And Vel'Koz, yes, you got poked out of lane. Yes, you're losing the CS battle, but you are still playing measured. You are making sure that any risks you're taking are calculated.
We got an engage going on in top lane. Gnar went in. He already used his ultimate. Gets the stun off. I don't think they want to chase this, but they could force the Gnar out, and Chen could freeze this if he stops auto-attacking the minion wave. Looks like he wants to go for the push instead. I'm not sure that's a good idea because Gnar does have TP, and he's going to TP back into that lane.
Yeah, and Gnar wants a lane coming towards him so he can just push it right back at you. That's what he wants.
Or he can potentially freeze it under tower and force the Shen to overextend.
So anyway, I was just gonna say one more good thing here about Sunshine in the mid lane. Like, it does seem to be a bit of a mismatch between these two players. The Katarina does seem to be just overpowering the Gnar, or sorry, overpowering the Vel'Koz. But the Vel'Koz is being very smart about when to use summoners and when not to.
Another engaged by the Nautilus, but Udyr is here. Leona goes in, drops the ultimate. Nautilus is forced to flash. Heal goes down. I think Nautilus is dead. Yep.
Great kill bot lane.
Katarina's
Nice
coming
work.
down, though. Can she clean this up? Flash from the Leona. That was very smart. Udyr's going to get the kill on the Xayah as well.
Spicy game now at this point. TSM.
Kayn gets the ultimate down. I think he's got the damage to finish this. Yep. And that's going to go a long way towards him getting his red form.
Yep. Katarina did not get an assist either, so Katarina's still having nothing except the CS lead. I'm really liking what I'm seeing out of TSM, though. They are not afraid of Amber 02, even though they have, on paper, it seems like they have a disadvantage, but they are not afraid to just take it to them when they have an opening.
Yeah, the gold lead is only about 400, about 10 minutes into this game. I don't know if that's enough for Amber 02 getting out of this laning phase.
Yeah, it's gonna be, the longer the game goes on, the more dangerous TSM is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Gnar continues to have, a 20 CS lead up in top lane, while Katarina continues to have a 20 CS lead in the mid lane. It's, both of these teams with their strengths up in top and mid are really showing, that, yeah, my team can rely on me. I can be the one to carry this team.
Yep. I definitely like how Gnar has been playing this lane. Chen hasn't been able to really do anything. He hasn't been able to use his ultimate to try and stop that play in bot lane. And that neutralizes a lot of Shen's abilities. We'll have to see if Shen is able to get an ult if they want to try and contest this Drake that's spawning here in the next 15 seconds or so.
Yeah, Vel'Koz even gets a turret plate in mid lane. Katarina hasn't been able to do that yet, so that helps the Vel'Koz catch up a little bit in gold.
Ooh, Udyr's topside when the Drake spawns. That's definitely a little bit of a misplay on the Udyr. Unless they decided that they just did not want to try and contest that Drake at all.
Yeah, I don't know. It might just be that he wasn't paying attention to the timer. It might just be that he was paying more attention to his pathing than anything else.
Yep. I definitely think that Gnar and Udyr should be looking to try and get this early Rift Herald. If they drop it top lane, that's an extra 2 plates as long as they get it in the next minute or two.
Yeah, and considering that Gnar has had a lead in the top lane, and that's a very good play that they need to look at. Ooh, being very aggressive in bot lane though, right?
Caitlyn forced to flash out. Kayn is here. Katarina's roaming down.
Nothing really happened though. They had a good disengage right away.
Yeah, but the flash was burned from the Caitlyn, so the next time that happens, could be a pretty hairy all-in.
And we've been focusing so much on the CS differential between top and mid. It should also be noted that Xayah also has a 20 CS lead over the Caitlyn down in bot lane. We haven't really focused on that at all. So worth mentioning there.
One thing that I want to bring up is the two vision wards that are in team support main's blue side jungle. Udyr has not been checking the bushes, so Amber has known where Udyr has been for the past 45 seconds. So they feel completely safe pushing up, knowing that he's not in a position to gank right now. So when you're a jungler, you have to check those bushes for those pink wards. Otherwise, they'll pretty much know your pathing for the next minute or two.
Ooh, Vel'Koz. Oh
Oh,
no! Oh no!
yep, looks like he wasn't expecting that. Fumbled his ultimate. Happens to the best of us.
Yeah, I mean, either his mouse the wrong direction when he used the ultimate, or it was just an accidental button press because he was nervous. I don't know.
Yep. Gnar coming in, or Kane coming in. Gnar just went Mega. Flash out from the Gnar.
Flashes out just in case.
Kane should be close to getting his form now.
Ooh, are they maybe going for this? Ooh, are they going for Shelly or just setting up or putting a ward down? I don't
Looks like
know.
they just want to get a ward down for now.
Interesting. I
If I was
probably would have gone
actually,
for it at that point.
if I was Amber, I would actually be looking for a lane swap because there's no Drake on the bot side of the map. Your bot lane's winning. Put them in the top side. Try to secure Shelly, and that way, if they try to contest Shelly, then Shen can use his ultimate to get in.
Ooh, Kane, you don't want none of that unless Katarina's there.
She's there. So that's another kill for the Katarina. She's now got 2. Let's see if she's going to continue going in.
Ooh, Gnar, oh
Taunt
no.
lands. Oh, great E from the Vel'Koz to stop the ultimate, but it's not enough.
Oh man, that's a heartbreaker right there. You know, the Gnar gets the kill and everything looks like it's gonna break even, but Katarina and Katarina and Shen just messing up the Gnar too. Oh, that's a heartbreaker.
So gold lead is now a little bit over 1K. I definitely would like to see a lane swap coming out from Amber to try and push the pace of this map.
I would like to point out, by the way, TSM did have one extra turret plate over Amber O2. So
Very good point.
So that is one way that they've been able to keep the gold lead as close as it has been, is because, you know, the Gnar is doing really well up in top lane, but they did have that extra turret play for that slight boost in the gold.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks like it's 30 CS lead in mid lane, about 20 CS lead in bot lane.
Yeah,
actually, Leona has hardly been able to get any Targon's proc. She's only got 6 CS right now.
Yeah, not sure if that's just because, you know, Zaya's been poking at her, what that's about.
So actually, I think that actually is going to result in she's only down by about 200 gold. The Nautilus about 200 more gold than Leona right now.
Gnar took a couple unnecessary turret shots up in top lane while he was being aggressive.
Yep.
That's why you don't play that aggressive, Gnar. You gotta still watch out for turret range.
All right, another Drake is coming up. Good all in by the Katarina, and she is no barrier used by the Vel'Koz, no flash used by the Vel'Koz. I think that was a mistake. But Katarina may have had the damage to kill him even through the barrier.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, you're close enough to the edge of her ultimate. You can at least flash out of there if you have it, and Vel'Koz did have it. So just probably just misjudging how much damage Katarina had, was confident that he could walk out of it. You know.
Yep. So it looks like they might be posturing. Looks like team support main is going to just give up that Drake. So now it's 3 Drakes to 0. I definitely like how Amber has been trying to get these Drakes on spawn every single time.
Whoa!
Flash, Nautilus still connects. Caitlyn E's the wrong way and winds up going down. Great play from Animal.
Oof. No clue how the Nautilus hook still hit. I thought that was way out of his range, but wow.
The owner's got to be really careful on this dive. If they juggle the turret aggro properly. Nope, they didn't. Oh, nope, there's a Shen coming in. Okay,
yep,
they did it right.
They were ready.
They did have to waste the flash on the Nautilus.
Aww. Vel'Koz, I'm so sorry.
All right, so this game has gone from roughly even to now solely in the hands of Amber. They get first tower. Katarina's now 4-0-1. Looks like they might be able to get mid tower as well. I'm hoping that Amber is going to rotate their bot lane top. Yes, they're doing it. That's a good play from them. Good macro decision. Rotating the Xayah towards top lane.
Yep. That Nar's got to get this tower. They got to get something back.
The problem is that the only lane that's doing pretty well is the Gnar, but if they put him in a 1v2, that's going to basically neutralize that advantage that they have, and there's nothing for them to really get on the bot side of the map besides perhaps the tower, while on top side they still have the Rift Herald that they can get.
Yeah, that's true. Bright side, though, for TSM, Caitlyn and Leona should be able to handle Shen. They should be able to get CS. They should be able to poke him while he's trying to get CS.
Mm-hmm.
They should be able to steadily damage that tower. Ooh!
Oh, wow!
And before we can even start doing play-by-play for that fight, they just
it's already over. It's just done.
Yeah, it's over. Jeez, holy crap, guys, settle down.
So that's going to be top tower going down, and that also should be Rift Herald going over to the side of Amber. Yep, so they rotate over.
All right, already a 2-tower lead. Gonna get Shelly, possibly drop it in top lane, go for a 3-tower lead.
I don't know if they need to use Shelly in top lane. That's the thing. I would prefer them to use it in mid if they can spare it. It's just a question of whether or not they can actually push that tower down with the Gnar up there. Gnar's trying to get out, winds up flashing. Good job by the Nautilus holding onto his hook.
All right, he saved the jump. Good job, Gnar. Good work. Yep, just gonna drop Shelly right there because Gnar has to leave.
Yep.
Gnar can't stay.
Katarina's also roaming up.
They should get this tower. There's nothing to stop them.
They're definitely going to get this tower. It's a question of how far do they want to push for the next tower.
Now, if I was them, what I would recommend at this point, just leave Shelly alone. Let her go in on her own. Go mid.
Yeah, that probably could work. It's just a question of do they need to do that.
Oh, no, Udyr, don't get caught out. All right. You're going to live. You're fine. Yeah,
right,
so
going down.
I'm a little bit puzzled here by TSM. Perhaps it's just a communication issue, but as soon as Shelly dropped top, they got to communicate that somebody has to go top to defend.
Solo kill from the Xayah.
Yeah, and nobody went top to stop Shelly. I mean, let Shelly take the first tower because you can't stop that, sure, but nobody went top to respond to Shelly going up to that inner tower at all.
Yeah, and nobody is they still aren't responding. Caitlyn and Leona are still in bot lane. So that's an inhibitor tower going down at 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's utter destruction up in top lane right now.
And Caitlyn and Leona haven't been able to get any turret damage against this Shen. They're playing very scared right now.
Yeah, I don't know why they're so scared of the Shen. It's just a Shen.
Mm-hmm.
You can easily overpower that Shen. You got the damage for it. You got the CC for it.
Maybe they're afraid because they don't have vision on Katarina. I definitely have to say that they have a lack of ward coverage.
Yes,
they've only got one pink ward down. I don't see any other red wards on the map right now.
Oof, that's a heartbreaker.
Meanwhile, Amber doing a very good job. I like the forward pink wards they have up by the red buff. They're already on this Drake as soon as it spawns.
Yep, they definitely have the vision line in TSM's jungle there to just help facilitate all these moves that they're making.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, they're in a very commanding position. Pretty much the only way that team support main can come back at this point is they just have to turtle and just try to funnel as much farm as they can onto their carries and just stop hemorrhaging gold.
Yeah,
the problem is that they've got too many people in mid lane right now. They need to divvy up people into the lanes because right now they're sharing too much gold, they're sharing too much experience. There's a lot of experience dying to towers right now.
I mean, the wave clear is nice to have, honestly, but like, you can't have 4 people mid. If Caitlyn and Vel'Koz want to stay mid just to wave clear and keep them off the tower, that's fine.
They do not want to try and fight this.
Ooh, it's a risky play, but maybe in their minds they gotta go risky at this point. Maybe they realize how far down they are, and they just go, "Man, we just gotta go for something."
Yep, the Shen's just gonna split push, and he's got his ultimate. They might lose the inhib because of this.
Oh man, and they can't recall to stop him either because
Yep.
they're
So
pushing
now
mid.
Amber,
So
all they have to do is stop the backs. Yep, there we go.
oof.
Nala's ultimate going down.
Ooh, a heal popped when the fight was already broken.
Yep.
Mm.
So now Amber's rotating back towards Baron. With the Vel'Koz down, there's no vision on Baron.
Yeah, this is practically a free Baron.
I don't like that they do not have a pink ward on the Baron, though. That is, there we go. Well, they dropped it over the side of the pit rather than in the pit. Okay.
So yeah, this is rough for TSM, and it's gonna get rougher now because they had no vision on Baron Pit, no clue this is happening. Udyr gets there just in time to put a ward down to see it going down, but he can't do anything to stop it and loses his life in the process.
Yep. And now it's a
just
5v4
rough.
power play, and Amber is full health, so they can keep pushing.
It's just a very rough game right now for TSM. They got to really turtle. They got to really dig deep and just stay by their towers and base and just defend it as hard as they can.
Mm-hmm.
They cannot risk really going out very far to go for stuff anymore. Oh, Leona stays a little bit too long under tower.
Ooh, winds up flashing. Oh, Katarina goes in, though, and they aren't able to stop her ultimate fast enough.
Oof.
Good turret juggling by Amber in order to get 3 kills. And that might be the end of the game. So that's a common mistake, is that if the tower is going down, the tower is going down. There's nothing you can do to stop it, and there's no reason to give up your life for something that is going to happen whether you stay there or not.
Vel'Koz using his ultimate. Oh, nothing really comes out of it.
Yeah, I think that was a little bit premature. I would have preferred him to wait until the wave hit the tower and then use it to both clear the wave and zone them off of it.
Yeah.
Oops, Katarina. A little bit of a
Okay,
mistake.
all right, she's fine. She's good. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I didn't see it clearly enough. I can check after this game is over. But it looked like when the Gnar was engaging on the Katarina under their tower, it looked like the Gnar used his ultimate, but missed getting Katarina caught in it.
Hmm.
So I'll go back and take a look at that again. If I'm right about that, then that's just like if Gnar was just like in a slightly different position, they might have gotten a kill on Katarina there on that tower.
So it looks like Amber's going to start recalling. There is a Drake that's spawning in a little bit.
So one thing that Amber 02 has done exceptionally well this game is just controlling the neutral objectives, controlling Dragon, controlling Baron, controlling Rift Herald. They got all of those.
Yep.
And it looked, from my memory of the game, TSM was not even close to controlling any of those as the game went on. They never had control over Baron Pit for either Shelly or the Baron, and it looked like they never really had control over Dragon Pit either.
Yeah, so one bit of advice that we give them is you got to be able to establish those vision lines around the river so you can start tracking the jungler. It's really important in the early and the mid game. I definitely think that they could learn a lot just by learning proper warding strategy and things like that. I definitely am very impressed by how Amber has been warding. They've been constantly advancing up their ward lines as they take towers.
They also went for a really early dragon, which I don't think TSM expected them to do, and that might have been like that. Maybe like threw them off a little bit, you know.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, Udyr gets caught. Yeah, they're too far ahead at this point.
Yeah, Gnar ultimate comes through, but it's too late.
Yep, and Caitlyn wasn't there, so...
Yeah, and that's going to be game right there, ladies and gentlemen. We have game number 1 going over to 0-2 in pretty dominating form as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
Amber just played to their win conditions. They played for the early game, and they executed that very, very well.
Can I rewind this at all while I'm still here? I can't. Okay. I'm going to rewind this a little bit. I'm just very curious about that mid lane fight that I talked about. I want to see if I just want to see if they could have, if Nard did get Katarina in that stun or not. I need to double check this for myself.
So yeah,
Okay.
Katarina with the hard carry, 22,000 damage.
Katarina was not caught in that Gnar ultimate. I was correct on that.
Okay.
So that's something that they can look at on the VOD here after today.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that fight could have gone very different if Gnar had just hit that ultimate properly under that tower. Because he didn't hit the ultimate, and then he had to rely on his normal stun on Katarina. And by that point, it was just too late.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's the point that I would make is that yes, there was a mechanical mistake at that point in the game, but I would look more towards that series of events where they wound up losing multiple towers and gave up like 4 or 5 kills within a minute of each other. That was the key moment in the game for me, where Amber just basically switched into overdrive and really, really stepped on the gas. And I don't think the team support main was ready for it at all.
Yeah, it's just an unfortunate story because if you take out all of Katarina's damage that we're looking at damage charts, if you take out her damage entirely, it's a completely even game. Katarina was 100%
Mm-hmm.
what drove the nail into the coffin so hard for that game.
Yep. And I mean, kudos to them for being able to make that Katarina work even into a team that had that much crowd control. I definitely think that team support main needs to look to ban that Katarina in game 2.
Yeah, if I was them, Katarina's my first ban.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even giving them a sliver of a hope, you know,
Mm-hmm.
that Katarina's going to be allowed to be played in game number 2. But yeah, I mean, it was a good game though from TSM. You know, early game was very even. I mean, gold was even right up until like I don't know, like right before Shelly. Gold was even up until like minute 11, minute 12.
Yeah, they played their early game pretty well. I definitely have to give credit to Amber for really accelerating once they got that first tower down.
Yeah, they really had an eye for seeing an opening, taking it, and then seeing another opening right away after that and going for that too. They really had a nice way of snowballing their advantages together.
Yep. And the other bit of advice I'd give team support main is that when that lane swap occurred, you can't keep that Caitlyn Leona in bot lane if you're not going to hard shove the tower. That definitely really hurt them. They wound up losing 3 towers rapid fire right after that chain of events, which really accelerated the gold lead. You either have to hard shove that lane and fight that Shen in a 2v1 situation, or you need to back and you need to match the Zaya and the Nautilus, even though you're behind.
Yeah, and I mean, you know that Chile got taken. You know that you all of your towers in top lane. You're only missing one tower in mid and bot lane. You know that they're not going to drop that Shelly into bot lane because it's too far away from top lane. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's too far away from that lane. It's not going to get dropped bot. They know that Shelly's going to be dropped either mid or top at that point if they're going to drop it now. So you got to at least have Caitlyn and Leona move towards mid lane at that point, even
Yep.
if you're leaving bot lane wide open, it's a Shen. He's not going to fast push bot lane anyway. So just have them move in the jungle towards mid lane, and then if they're not dropping Shelly, fine, go back bot lane. If they do drop Shelly, you got to have Caitlyn and Leona responding to Shelly right away.
Yep. Yep.
But yeah, I mean, it was, we still saw good things though. We
Mm-hmm.
still saw good things out of TSM, even though they lost that game. We still saw a lot of good things out of Amber. I mean, they won the game, so you're going to see more good things out of the team that wins. It's just how it goes. But, I'm excited for game 2. I want to see how TSM learns from this first game and how they choose to apply all that knowledge for game number 2. And I'm really interested to see what Amber's going to pull out for game 2, because there's no way Katarina's not getting banned. So who is Kazooie going to play?
Yeah.
Like how are they going to change their team comp?
So yeah, looking at his champ pool, it looks like they did target ban him a little bit. They banned out his Akali and they banned out his Sylas, but they left up his most played champion, which was the Katarina. So the real question is, do you devote 3 bans towards mid lane now? You ban out the Sylas, the Akali, and the Katarina, and then potentially leave up the Pike for Animal in support lane and support, or yeah, I'm very curious to see how they wind up switching up their draft.
Yeah, I mean it's a puzzle.
The other thing is that Amber did not pick the Katarina until the second pick phase, the second part of the pick phase. So they had another opportunity to potentially ban that Katarina in the second round of bans, and instead they banned the Kai'Sa and the Jinx. So definitely some things that they can work on in the drafting phase as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, drafting is always a puzzle, choosing which bands to ban is always like a puzzle you have to take time to figure out. So, we'll see how they learn from that. We'll see how they choose to apply their knowledge in game number 2. But let's take a short break here before we go into game 2 so that we can get a chance to grab some water or something, because we've been talking quite a bit here for game 1. So stream, we will catch you guys again in about 1 minute here as we take our break. Shadow, do you have us muted right now? All right, stream. I have unmuted myself because I am ready for game number 2. And we saw Amber02 take the win in game number 1 over TSM Team Support Main. But I'm very interested to see how this all pans out for game number 2 because I think we're in for a Katarina ban from TSM. I don't see how they let Katarina go through. Then again, they did ban 2 mid laners in round 1 last time, so maybe we'll see them ban 3 mid laners in round 1 for all I know. I mean, they could very easily decide to do that.
That would be what I would recommend to them. Just throw all your bans toward mid lane. That seemed to be the biggest difference in game 1. Yeah, just try to keep their mid laner in check, and then hopefully your top laner showed that they definitely played really well in that Gnar versus Shen matchup, which to my knowledge is typically Shen favored. I'm sure chat can correct me, but and then bot lane was relatively even, but then it wound up getting a little bit lopsided because of some good Nautilus engages.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so there's a bit of a puzzle, a bit of a conundrum here for TSM. Because if you use all of your bans in round 1 on a mid laner, we know that this mid laner has other picks that they can pull in. It's not like this mid laner only plays 3 champs. So how do you weigh that against all the other positions? Because even though their jungler played Kayn, it seemed like Kayn was to take a pick away from TSM, but that Kayn was still played pretty well.
Yep.
So how do you weigh the risk there? How do you go about that and determining that, you know, all 3 of our first bans are going to be at mid lane and like that's going to be worth it, you know?
Because the first game was such a one-sided affair. Once we got into the mid game, I feel like you have to do something drastic. I don't feel like small little rudder changes are going to really fix this problem. So I feel like yes, going for 3 mid lane bans is a high risk play, but that's what you have to go for when you're in this type of situation. I think if they only ban 2 mid laners, then they're going to run into similar problems in mid lane in game 2.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, okay, like if I was in this situation with my team, I wouldn't be happy about it. But it's what I would end up doing for those very reasons. You know, like we have to do something drastic. We have to just try to shut their mid laner down somehow.
Yep. So I mean,
Because
you draft an early game jungler, you ban out their mid laners. I think you can still put your mid laner Sunshine on the Vel'Koz again if you want, or you can put him on Syndra or Vigar. Those were the 3 main ones that he played. And then you basically just throw all your eggs into the shutdown mid lane basket and hope for the best.
Yeah, it's man, it just doesn't feel good when like you're in that kind of a position, you know what I mean? Like it just doesn't feel good because like Xayah wasn't the problem. You can't pinpoint it on Xayah. You know, Nautilus wasn't the problem last time. Can't waste a ban on Nautilus.
Yeah.
Jungler wasn't the problem. Kayn wasn't the problem. Yes, Kayn did a really good job of controlling the jungle and controlling the neutral objectives, but you can do that on any jungle champion. It doesn't have to be Kayn, so Kayn's not worth banning.
Yep.
And then the way that Gnar shut down Shen in top lane, Shen wasn't the problem either. Although Shen did have like one really good ultimate that stopped someone from dying, but at the same time, it's like he wasn't the problem. You know, Katarina was the problem.
So yeah, I definitely think that they have to trade out that they banned Pyke in the first round last time. I think they leave the Pyke up, ban the Katarina instead.
Yeah, I think what I would recommend. I think what I would recommend for this game, TSM, pick a carry top laner. Pick someone that can just do damage, carry the whole game for you, because it's clear that your top laner has the ability to do it.
Yep. Yeah, I definitely would push her more towards the Kennen or the Nico. Those are 2 champs that are in her wheelhouse.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Kennen was banned last, so Kennen was not an option, but Nico was. Nico was never banned. So I would love to see a Nico because I like watching a top lane Nico, especially if it's a really good top lane Nico. I think it's super fun to watch. Wouldn't mind that at all. If there are any other picks that Nico Lily is comfortable playing up there to carry the team, I'd go for that too. Like, I mean, I don't have the list of, I don't have Nico Lily's champion pool up here for me to look at, but I wouldn't be
First
surprised if
ban
there were
is
more
the
options.
Pike from Team Support, so they definitely were. They're still going for the Pike ban. Second ban is the Akali. I do like the ban from Amber to ban out the Kennen and the Nico. It's almost like they're listening to the stream or something.
Oof. There's the Katarina though. They
There's
did
a
ban
Katarina. So
I
they left up the Silas though. Now.
Yeah, I guess in their minds, they would rather face a Silas than a Kali and Katarina.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and they first picked the Kayn. They want to make sure that Amber O2 does not take that away from them again. I like that. That's a smart pick, making sure that you can still get that for yourself.
Yeah, and looking at champ pools for the Team Support main, he doesn't have that many early game junglers that he plays. So Leona Kai'Sa, okay, it's not as strong as the Caitlyn Leona, but maybe he feels more comfortable on the Kai'Sa.
Yeah, well, Kai'Sa was banned last game, so Team Support main does think that Kai'Sa's a priority pick for Amber O2.
Mm-hmm.
Whether that's because of, he's just got a lot of games played on Kai'Sa, or he has like a good win rate on Kai'Sa, whatever the reason is. But I do like taking Nautilus in response, and I
agree.
I like the Ashe hover. I whether they lock in Ashe or not, I like Ashe as an idea. So we'll see if they lock it in or not. They're still kind of debating what Ashe is going to do, if they're going to stick with the Ashe, I guess.
Oh, apparently there might have been a random pick that happened.
Oh.
So wait for confirmation.
Yeah, we can wait for confirmation on that.
Sona instead of Fiona?
They're saying it's one of those picks is supposed to be Sona, but they didn't say which one, so I don't. Nautilus was supposed to be Sona.
Nautilus was supposed to be Sona. I'll wait for them to clear it out. They wind up picking out the Shen, and they ban out the Gnar. So those are the three major ranged top laners. The only one left is the Kayle. It's a question of, are they going to ban the Kayle?
I mean,
with the last pick.
Yeah, if you're TSM, nope, they're going to ban Kayle.
They're going to ban the Kayle. So they've identified the Nico Lily as like the main problem that they had with Team Support main. So that's a lot of bans. That's 4 top lane bans that they devoted.
And you can still ban out mid lane here. So yeah, they ban Silas, so they ban Aurelia, which I assume is another mid lane ban. So I totally agree with targeting their mid lane. I totally agree with that. And now they lock in Pantheon, which I have to assume is a mid lane Pantheon at this point.
Mid lane or potentially jungle, but jungle Pantheon is not very strong right now.
No, that's why I'm assuming it's a mid lane Pantheon, because Pantheon can be played in mid lane. It's not as good as the 4 picks that were banned, but like you can still play that mid lane. Oh yes, Fiora! Oh, I'm excited now. I'm really excited.
So the Fiora coming out, that is one of his carries that he has. That's pretty much the only carry he has left. The only other champions he plays is a little bit of Poppy and Aatrox. So Fiora coming out into the Shen.
I like the Malzahar pick as well for mid lane. I like what Team Support main. I like their idea for this team comp. I like what they're going for.
And that is the Pantheon jungle.
All right, that's Pantheon jungle because they locked in the Cassiopeia. What if they're doing something really weird though? What if this is like? What if our guesses are just way off for this team and like we have no clue where anyone's going except for Kai'Sa? Like, what if that's what's happening here? I don't know.
Potentially.
But anyway. I'm really excited for Team Support main. I like what they're doing here. I like the Fiora top lane. She's a real like hard carry potential on that Fiora. She can completely turn a game around for her team's favor. I like the Kayn giving their jungler like a better chance of this game to like really facilitate himself. I like the Nautilus in bot lane. Nautilus is a really good support just in general, regardless of who he's paired up with. But I like that the Nautilus is paired up with Ashe particularly because Nautilus and Ashe together have a lot of CC down there. A lot of slows, a lot of lockdown. I'd like that a lot.
Nautilus has some of the highest CC in the game, and then combined with an Ashe, that's pretty ridiculous. And then with the Malzahar on top of it.
Wait. Sorry, I keep thinking that it's.
It's
forgot.
actually the Sona. Is it Sona?
But Sona still has lockdown with her ultimate, so I'm still not technically wrong.
But that does change the composition of the lane. So now it's more of a poking lane with the Sona Ashe, because Ashe does have a pretty long attack range and also a pretty long range on her volley. Kai'Sa's a relatively short range 80 carry. So actually in the laning phase, this potentially favors team support main if they can continually poke out the Kai'Sa and avoid the all-in from Leona.
Yeah, I mean, if Leona and Kai'Sa get a really good engage, they're getting a kill. Because Sona and Ashe are just too squishy. Somebody's dying down there. On the other hand, though, like top lane can more than make up for that if Nico Lily's a good Fiora, and by all accounts, he is a good Fiora, so I'm looking forward to that. Malzahar in the mid lane, though, I want to focus on that as well for Sunshine, because last game, you know, they can recognize those CS differentials that happened in top and mid lane. And yes, it was pretty obvious for mid lane. It was pretty obvious for top lane. Yes, top lane was in their favor, so, you know, that's fine. It's probably going to be in their favor again this time, too. But in mid lane, to try to make up for that, the Malzahar, I mean, Malzahar can get CS for you.
Yep.
You know, like the Malefic Visions, throw that down on a minion, let that carry to all the other minions in lane. If you do it right with your auto attacks and where the minions are minions, you know, like you can get a lot of CS that way without really having to do much yourself. So I think the Malzahar pick is twofold. I think number one, it's just to try to help out that CS differential and not make it as big of a deal. And I think it's also just giving like one of the best CC abilities in the entire game with his ultimate, just giving that to your team to facilitate everybody else.
So one problem though is this team composition from team support main is incredibly reliant on Fiora getting ahead. If Fiora does not get ahead, it's going to be a very rough time for them because they do have the Pantheon ultimate. So if the Fiora tries to split push against the Shen, Pantheon can join. Kai'Sa has a long range ultimate as well. And if Shen lands a taunt, Kai'Sa can immediately ult in as well. So there's a lot of ways that they can pick this Fiora if she's not so far ahead that she can basically 1v2 or 1v3.
Yeah, I want to see the Fiora get ahead. I want to see. You don't see come in that often for games anymore, just because there are more prioritized picks than her.
Yep.
But it's always fun to watch a Fiora go wild and just take over a game. It's so much fun to watch.
It's a very high risk, high reward play style, and I commend them for going that route because like I said, they needed to do something that was high risk. They needed to basically go for something crazy after a loss like that. So I definitely like this.
Yeah, I like that they're like, you know what, let's take a few chances. Let's see what we can make happen. Because you look at the laning phase from that last game. If I was TSM, that laning phase from game one would give me hope. Like, yeah, if we just had some slightly different champs, if we played things a little bit differently, we would have been ahead at the 14-minute mark, you know?
Now, to be fair, Amber did basically almost force Nico Lily onto this Fiora. They devoted basically 5 bans if you include the Jax, because Jax can go top lane. So Kennen, Nico, Jax, Gnar, and Kayle all banned to try and shut down Nico Lily. So it's going to be very interesting to see if she can absorb all of that pressure, all of those bans, and still come out on top.
Well, you know, I did say that I wanted this series to be a 1-1 at the end of the day, so I'm going to say she can handle it.
Yeah, I definitely... you got to put all your eggs in the Fiora basket. So I would hope that Kayn is going to camp the Fiora, Malzahar is going to push out his lane and roam top.
Yep,
You
and they
got to
have a
get that
lot of
Fiora
utility.
ahead.
You know, they picked a lot of utility in other roles to help facilitate the
Mhm.
Fiora because, you know, Ashe has vision, Ashe has some slow, Ashe has like CC lockdown with her ultimate, Sona has CC lockdown with her ultimate. She can also heal, she can speed people up. You know, you know, their bot lane alone has just a lot of utility to help Fiora succeed. Kane, you know, he's got a slow, he's got a knock up. If he goes with that form, you know, he's got a knock up.
Mhm.
You know, Malzahar's got full lockdown with his ultimate. You know, if I was Amber O2, I would be thinking right now, like, okay, who's buying a QSS? Because at least two of us are buying a QSS to deal with all the CC.
Oh yeah, I definitely think that both the Cassiopeia and the Kai'Sa are going for an early QSS. But they can mitigate potentially getting one shot with the Shen ultimate.
Yeah, yeah, Chenault can really help defend one of them, but at the same time, if you don't have a QSS, you're still taking a ton of damage while the Shen is coming in.
Mhm.
So like, you know, you still run the risk of dying even after Shen shows up.
Yeah,
You
vision is
know,
going to be so important in this game because both sides have some pretty strong pick potential. Um, Both establishing your vision lines and denying vision is going to be really essential because basically the team that surprises the other team is most likely going to win every single team fight or every single skirmish.
yeah, and TSM actually is kind of prepared for the vision in this game, like more than they were last game anyway, because they do have Ashe. Ashe gives you extra vision, you know.
Yep.
Hawk shot into the jungle to try to figure out where Pantheon is. Um, you know, like that could help Kane out a lot. And we might see a completely different story from the jungle this game because of HK Sniper being more confident on Kane and because of Ashe helping get vision on the jungle on the other side. We could see Kane controlling the jungle, you know, like Orf was controlling the jungle last time with Kane. You know, we could it could be just a completely different story for all we know going into this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I'm definitely looking towards the Kane and the Fiora. They've got to come to play this game.
Yeah, they really got to make something happen. I don't know if that means top lane to like kill Shen really early, you know, but they got to turn it on. They have to rev up that engine.
Mm-hmm. So about 1 minute left in the spectator delay. As far as the scaling advantage goes, Fiora obviously scales amazing, but Cassiopeia and Kai'Sa on the enemy team,
Yeah, that is rough.
that's pretty crazy. They're gonna be able to take Drakes and Barons incredibly fast with that double DPS, and their team fighting as long as the Shen and the Leona peel, they those two champions can output an absurd amount of DPS.
Yeah, I would you know, I'll be interested to see how Malzahar decides to build items this game because
Mhm.
you can go more utility and just like making yourself have more HP as Malzahar with your item builds. You know, take that. Oh, I'm forgetting the item now. It starts with an R. It makes things slow, like when you use your abilities on them. What is that called? Not thinking about it. I'm. It's not coming right now.
The
Uh,
keystone or the item?
the item starts with
Talking
an
about
R.
GLP, Twin Shadows.
No, not Randuin's, not Randuin's chat. It's the AP item. It looks like a blue staff with like a blue jewel on the end. You know what I mean? That one? I don't know. It's not coming to mind right now. Rylai's Crystal
Oh,
Scepter. That's it.
Rylai's,
Thank you.
Rylai's.
Thank you. Yeah. Because Malzahar could build a Rylai's early to get extra utility for the team and
That
give
is true.
himself extra health. But Malzahar could also choose, nope, I'm just going to build full AP and just go full on glass cannon so I can give as much damage down on these team fights as possible. You know, we don't really know which way he's going to be choosing to build Malzahar. We don't know which way the team has talked about that because, you know,
I
I
actually think
would
that would
I
be a
would assume they've
potentially
talked about it.
that could be a potentially good strategy is to basically stack those items that increase the utility in CC, Twin Shadows, Rylai's, things like that. Because you do have Yeah, you do have some ability to basically kite and catch the enemy team.
And it looks like it's just going to be another line of scrimmage at the start. It looks like neither team is willing to do an invade.
Yep.
But we are seeing a really weird line of scrimmage come out of TSM.
I agree. They
Uh,
definitely need to
they're
take some.
leaving all these openings wide open. But
Yep.
you know,
And also they used one of their wards very early on.
yeah, which is weird. I mean, maybe they're thinking, which one of them used that, by the way? Who was it?
Malzahar, I believe it
That was
was.
Malzahar's ward. Ooh,
Yeah.
that's a little early, Malzahar. You need that ward after laning phase has started so that you can watch out for a gank.
Yeah, one of the
That's
wards
what
I
see.
actually love to put is get an early ward on Raptors. That allows you to really track the jungler in the early game. So I definitely would advise teams to look to try and get that ward right around when minions crash into mid lane.
Mm-hmm. I mean, TSM is just a little bit lucky here that Amber O2 does not want to invade them at all, because they had 1, 2, 3, 4 really easy ways of in jungle because nobody was watching any of those openings.
Yep. I like that the Shen is hiding that he's in the lane brush right now. He's soaking EXP.
Let's see if the Fiora falls for that or not.
I'm at 1 minute 55 seconds. Are you a little bit behind me?
No, I'm ahead of you. I'm at 2 minutes.
Okay, I'm at 2 minutes too right now.
Okay, all right, cool. We're even. Yeah, I think this top lane is going to be really fun to watch.
Yeah, I definitely have my eyes on that. Shen is playing it passive. I think he realizes that the Fiora is the win condition, and all he has to do is not give her kills early.
Yeah. Even if he's down in CS like he was last time, that's fine. Just don't die.
He doesn't care. Yep.
Your entire job is to not die.
Yep. And that's very important, is being able to realize what your role is and what the enemy team's win condition is. If the only win condition they have is the Fiora gets ahead, then all you have to do is make sure you play super passive and that she doesn't get ahead.
And she is going to get ahead, but you know, it's worse if you die. So like the CS differential is still going to be bad.
Yep.
I like TSM bot lane here. I like them playing it safe. I like just getting poked down and just CSing as much as possible. That's what you want to do. You can't play too aggressive, not against a Leona. Meanwhile, in mid lane, the CS differential is still going in favor of Cassiopeia, probably just because she's better at timing the CS, getting that last hit.
Yep.
But Malzahar, the pick on Malzahar here is helping.
Yep.
At least so far.
Kane is playing towards the top side, which is what I hoped he would do. I'm curious to see if he will try and invade or get some vision down.
Ooh, Leona tries to go in. They really wanted that level 3.
Kane going for a gank mid.
I like that.
Unfortunately, Malzahar was not in a position to assist. But that will help Kane get closer to his form.
And it did relieve pressure a little bit on Malzahar.
Pantheon coming in for a gank bot. I don't think he's going to get anything.
Yeah, nothing really accomplished there.
Both junglers not effective with their first ganks.
But yeah, Malzahar is still, the CS differential is only 10. It's not 20. It's not 30. So as long as he's able to stay about 10 behind, and that's still way better than it was last game. That's really good for him.
Yeah, and the Shen is actually doing better in this game as well as compared to the Gnar. CS differentials are less in top lane as well.
Just pretty normal. Just trading CS here, trying to poke whenever you can, and it's a pretty calm game so far. No real big moments of action.
Yep. Yeah, so far I like how both teams are playing, and I like that team support main is just trying to play safe. They had the right strategy before, and they just need to be ready for that gear change that Amber's going to go for. Ooh, nice taunt from the Shen.
Ooh, Fiora getting some extra damage in there. Very nice. Now, one thing I need to ask, though, is I'm not a Fiora main. I don't play Fiora top lane really ever. Ooh.
Pantheon coming in for a gank. Malzahar's shield is down. That's going to force the flash. I don't think they're going to get anything else because Cassiopeia is out of mana.
All right.
If I was Pantheon, I'd help the Cassiopeia push out this lane so she can get a reset.
But what I was going to say anyway is that I'm looking at Fiora's keystone here. And I wonder if that's a general like good keystone on her, or if this might just be a speciality of Nico Lily, if that's how Nico Lily likes to play Fiora.
Yeah, that is very interesting going for the Kleptomancy. I mean, I guess you're going to get a lot of procs on Kleptomancy against Shen, so I guess she's trying to use it to try and accelerate her build. But I'm not sure if it's better than going for one of the precision keystones, like Press the Attack or Conquer or something like that.
Yeah. Again, not a Fiora main or a top lane player, so I just don't know for sure.
Nope.
Shen once again went for Grasp, which I think is a little easier to do against Fiora, because Fiora is going to be in melee range. You know, you're going to get that off more often in a fight.
Yeah, definitely the right choice into this Fiora matchup, going for the Grasp. Ooh, engaged by the Leona onto the Sona.
Ooh.
And Ashe just leaves, runs.
Ooh, Ashe just kept running. She didn't stop running.
Oh, Shen with the early Bramble Vest. This is exactly what you want to do against a Fiora. It's pretty much always rush to the Bramble Vest.
That's a very good buy. I like that.
Yep.
He doesn't even have to finish it into a Thornmail. He can just build for a Sunfire Cape or something else right now.
Yep.
But Bramble Vest is definitely going to help him.
Good trade by the Shen.
Yeah, really good trade there. That's really nice. It looks like Amber 02 is going to go for Dragon here. They got 3 players positioned in the Dragon Pit. Yep, they are indeed going for Dragon right now. Should go down fairly easily. I don't think they have any vision on it. Or I don't think TSM has any vision on Dragon Pit.
They do have a ward on it. Let's see if Kane tries to go for it. He could go for the drive-by smite, but nope, decides not to go into it. Ashe arrow misses.
The ult off too late.
Yep. Oh, she does actually wind up hitting the Cassiopeia.
TSM is thinking about going for this.
Kane is going in, and that's a kill, going under the Cassiopeia.
Ooh, Sunshine, you got a flash.
Pantheon's got his Empower W he can go for.
Oh. I thought Flash was still up for him. It wasn't. No,
they burned it in the that last gank earlier.
Yep, that's very unfortunate there. Malzahar doesn't have great movement speed, and he has no escape built into his kit. So playing Malzahar requires some greater precision in your positioning.
Oh, interesting invade by the Fiora. Oh, she's not going to try and go for the red buff though.
Didn't like the odds of Shen coming in and sandwiching her in there, I guess.
Well, Shen did have the ultimate, so he could have easily either just rotated or used the ultimate to save the Pantheon.
Ooh, going for the fight.
Good taunt.
Fiora, yeah, you got the bad end of the deal there on that trade. Ooh, that's rough. Fiora needs to get some lifesteal on her.
Well, the Bramble Vest is going to cut that, though. That's the problem. Yeah, Shen's playing this very, very well.
I mean, he is 30 CS down just like last game, but I mean, he's not letting Fiora get any more advantages than that. Yeah, she hasn't gotten a single tower plate. Shen is dealing a lot of damage to her. Shen might get a kill on her. Nice!
Wow. So that's about the worst thing that could possibly happen. The Shen getting that solo kill. Because team support main, they have to get that Fiora ahead.
Yeah, I mean, the 30 CS differential, all that gold that you have over Shen, it doesn't matter if you haven't used that gold to buy items.
engaged by the Iona onto the Sona. She
Gets the
uses her
stun.
ultimate. Ooh, but they still get the kill, and they land the ultimate on the Ashe. Ashe forced the flash.
That's rough. That is rough. So one thing I've seen a lot out of HX50 in game 1 and now game 2. I'll stop talking while the fight's happening.
Let's see how far they're willing to go for this. Oh, he gets the execute with the Q.
Malzahar could get a good
flash. Oh, good taunt. Flash taunt. Ultimate coming down. They might get a trade kill. But Cassiopeia is rotating.
See, there's the issue, Malzahar. You gotta get your malefic visions down some at least before you activate your ultimate. You got to have all that damage working at the same time because your ultimate on its own does not do enough.
That is very true. Getting the right spell order is very important with Malzahar.
Yeah, it's very important. You got to at least get the malefic visions. If not, the malefic visions and your little crab guys. You got to at least get one of those down there to hurt whoever you're using your ultimate on.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, what I was saying about HX50, one thing I noticed in game 1, I didn't comment on it very much. I let it go for the most part, but I'm going to comment on it here because it's even more apparent with Ashe. You don't just use your ultimate for the sake of using your ultimate. There were a lot of times in game 1 where as Caitlyn, he used the ultimate when they weren't fighting, when nobody was at low health. He would just use the ultimate to get damage down on somebody.
Kayn coming in. I don't think they're going to get much out of this. TP coming in. Pantheon coming in as well. They're going to turn this completely. Wow.
Didn't even need Cassiopeia showing up.
Yeah. I definitely think they were trying. They forced that play way too hard. And then that might be bot tower going down. The play was too telegraphed.
Yeah. So here's my advice for HX50 as a former AD carry player for like my entire time playing League. You got to use those ultimates when they matter. During a team fight, when somebody has low health and they're running away. When you're playing Ashe, you want to use that ultimate to start a team fight. You want that to initiate the fight.
Oh man.
Don't just use it for no reason.
In that 1v1, the Fiora ultimate ran out before she gets the 4th vital. And she wound up losing that 1v1.
Oh, Malzahar. Oh, that was a good time to use your ultimate. She was under tower. She took a tower shot. You could have killed her there.
That is true.
I can understand being afraid, though, and just running away from all the damage, because she was outputting a lot of damage.
Yeah.
I get it. The fear is real.
Malzahar has to be really careful. He's very low health.
You're taking a huge risk being that close to the Cassiopeia.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he might die of a Pantheon Q if with the Pantheon execute.
Just because the Pantheon was reworked so recently, I always forget that there's some execute on now.
Mm-hmm. Well, it used to be that if you were below 15% health, the spear shot would crit on old Pantheon. I think that's how it worked.
Oh no.
Ashe is caught out. That's going to be a kill.
Yeah, that's a dead Ashe, yep.
And that should be Drake going over to Amber as well. And Sona is staying around. Oops.
This I like.
Gank in top lane. Okay, they wind up getting the kill. Ooh, and they wind up getting a shutdown.
Yep, shutdown helps. Shutdown helps a lot. I mean, you're still down by 8,000 gold.
Yep.
But shutdown at least feels good.
So yeah, TSM is in a very, very bad spot right now. Early game has not gone their way at all, and they pretty much have to just not fight and just farm for 20 to 30 minutes to try and get back into this game.
Yep, you got to let the Fiora scale up, get more items. You got to let the Malzahar scale up, get more items. You got to let Ashe scale up, get more items.
Yeah, you basically just have to
Just-
get to a point in the game where the gold disadvantage doesn't even matter anymore. That's your
Yep.
only recourse to get back into the game.
Stall this out as much as possible, guys.
Hmm. The other important thing that I don't see a lot of teams doing is objective trading. You know that they're going to want to try and rotate their Kai'Sa towards the top side of the map to get that top tower, to get the Rift Herald. If you can, hard shove and potentially trade a tower, even if they wind up getting the Rift Herald, as long as you're able to get a 1-for-1 tower trade, that is a favorable trade when you're behind this much.
Yeah, I mean, you got to do something when you're this far behind. It might not, like the trade that you just proposed, it might not feel good at the time,
You just got to get something.
but you got to get something. Yeah, you got to
Yeah.
do something.
Ash arrow coming in, but it's gonna miss.
I mean, those long range Ashe arrows are hard to hit anyway. It moves.
Yeah, honestly, I don't even see the reason for using it in that way. I would have saved it potentially for the Shen, since you're in a 1v2.
It might have just been a call to
Ooh.
do it because the Kayn was going to come get top, and she might have just pulled the trigger too early.
That was a great ultimate by the Kai'Sa to reposition to make it so that Fiora was not able to get that vital, to get the heal.
Ooh, Kai'Sa's so close to being dead right now.
Yeah, Kai'Sa would have gone down if it wasn't for that good ultimate on her part. So yeah, again, TSM's bot lane. You have to hard shove that lane. You have to try to trade.
Ooh, Malzahar, that was when you could have ulted her. You had it. It was available. Oh, no. Yeah, it's rough. It's rough.
Mm-hmm.
Cassiopeia is not afraid of going under that tower and taking a tower shot, and Malzahar needs to take advantage of that just once, and she'll stop doing it.
Yep. I like that they are rotating the Ashe up there, so they learned from their last game that they can't leave that Ashe alone.
Ooh, there we go. That's the kind of engage they need right there. Oh no, the Fiora goes down.
But Shen comes in, he's going to wind up being able to clean this up. I like the idea. Just a little bit, need to be a little bit crisper on the execution.
Yep. Just needed slightly better execution on that, and it would have worked out. It's also a shame, though. Ashe, this was probably on accident. Switched targets in the middle of that fight.
Yep.
So yeah, just slightly better execution would have made probably enough of a difference that they would have gotten a kill in that fight.
And if they got that shutdown on Kai'Sa, that's a 700 gold bounty. So I mean, even if you wind up giving up, you trade 2 for 1 in that situation, you still wind up in the positive for gold because there's such huge shutdowns on the enemy team.
Yeah, exactly. Any shutdown is a good shutdown. Doesn't really matter who it's on.
Mm-hmm. So, I know they don't have vision on it, but TSM should know that they would probably be going towards the Rift Herald before it expired at 20 minutes. So I would have liked to have seen them trying to pressure bot lane instead of mid to try and go for those type of objective trades.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, it is a priority target if you're far ahead.
Ooh, Pantheon coming in. I think this could be a dead Sona. Yep. Malzahar using his ultimate, but he's just too far behind.
He got a lot of damage down. It just wasn't enough.
Yep.
Pantheon is a little too far ahead.
So again, they've got the Fiora and the Ashe in the same lane. So they're winding up, they're sharing gold, they're sharing EXP. You gotta split up your carries to try and maximize your farm, maximize your EXP, maximize your gold. They put Fiora in the top lane now.
Somebody's got to go answer that Shen, and it's got to be Fiora.
It's got to be Fiora. Fiora should be rotating there right now.
Kane's going. He's volunteering.
Yeah, I definitely think that's a little bit of a misplay. You got to get more farm to the Fiora, because now you're basically you're either your Fiora or your Ashe is going to be under farmed, and you don't, that extra CS on the Kayn is not as useful, especially since Drake just spawned, and now you've got your jungler topside.
Yeah, which is why they were able to transition and take Dragon right now for Amber O2, because they knew where Kayn was. Once you know where Kayn was and you know that he's not available to help with a neutral objective like that, you can just go for it.
Exactly.
You don't need to be afraid of anything.
Yep. I
'Cause
do
that
like that now
Dragon's-
Fiora is split pushing on the bot side of the map. She's got TP. She needs to start trying to create some pressure.
Yeah. Because in that situation where they took that dragon, that dragon was only getting stolen if they really messed up, and for no other reason.
So right now, TSM has to start getting some control back into their jungle. They need to start putting down wards. They need to start clearing out wards. They need to start investing in vision wards, things like that. And they need to move as a group into the jungle. You can't go by yourself into the jungle because you do not own your own jungle anymore.
It's far too risky.
Yeah.
And we're seeing, Amber O2, they're just up the pressure. They really have no reason to recall ever right now, because
they're gonna lose the top tower if they're not rotating the Fiora over.
Yeah, they need to rotate Fiora over there right now, and they're just keeping her mid. Their mindset at this point is probably Fiora's our strongest player. We got to keep Fiora here for team fights.
But
that's probably
Fiora's
why
not a
they're
good
not
team
moving
fighter.
her.
You need to get her more EXP.
Exactly.
Right now she's 2 levels down on the Shen. All their CC lands onto the Leona. The Leona's just gonna face tank that.
Yeah, she can take that damage.
Yep. Pantheon coming in with the ultimate.
Oh man, that feels awful.
So for the majority of that team fight, it was a 3v5, and it wound up being a 5-for-0 ace.
Yep. And Shelly's down in bot lane, taking bot lane tower right now.
Yep.
So it's just Amber O2, just like in game 1, they see an opening, they take it, and they are just snowballing that opening to create more and more openings as the game goes on.
Yeah, I definitely have to give credit to Amber for once they get a small little opening, they turned that into a opening so big you could drive a semi through. But I definitely think that TSM can learn a lot by learning lane assignments in the mid game and the late game, because it seems like that they're a little bit lost on where they should be putting their players, and they're winding up being under-leveled and under-farmed against the enemy team. Fiora is 2 levels down. The Malzahar is 2 levels down. The Ashe is 3 levels down. This is because they're all sharing the same experience in the same lane.
And you need to make sure that even if you're switching the lane assignments around, doing what you should be doing, you need to make sure that Kayn is still in the jungle and getting those jungle camps, and you need to make sure that the enemy team doesn't know where your jungler is.
Speaking as a jungler, this type of a game is absolutely awful for the jungler, because you basically can never go into your own jungle. You do not own your jungle anymore. So that's usually the first thing that winds up falling, is your jungler gets under-farmed when you're losing this badly. But there's definitely no reason for top lane, mid lane, AD carry to be falling this far behind in EXP. This might be the game. Death timers are still relatively
This is the
short.
game. This has got to be the game. I can't imagine this game goes longer. It's got to be done. Yeah, they just have too much damage at the Nexus.
Mm-hmm. All right, so that's
Man.
a 2-0.
That is a rough second game there, but like you were saying though, as the game was going, like, there are a lot of learning opportunities here.
Yep. Exactly.
There's-
I mean, this is the first time this team has played together in a competitive environment like this. So, I mean, there's tons to learn just from these 2 games. I would highly encourage them to go over them in detail, to watch this stream, because there's definitely a lot of ways that they can improve and basically try to stop the bleeding once things start going not their way.
Yeah, it's like I like the ideas that they had in these two games. I
Mhm.
like what TSM was doing with their team comps for both games. You know, in game one they thought they were prepared for Katarina with all the CC they had on their team. It just wasn't enough. Katarina got too fed, she got too far ahead, and all the CC just kind of didn't matter
Yeah.
anymore.
Yep.
And then in game two, they go with, well, let's try to play through our top lane. We want to give our top laner like a carry, and even though Kennen, Nico, Nar, and Kale were all banned, they still picked the Fiora. They still picked some champion that there was carry potential with. So I really appreciate all the steps that they took from game one to game two to change things up, to try to make up for what went poorly in the first game. I really appreciate all the effort that went into that team comp for game number two.
Yeah. One thing that I will point out though is that the Fiora would constantly shove the lane, and it made it very hard for the Kane to assist her in getting an advantage. And I understand that she was pushing the lane constantly in order to make sure that the Shen didn't use his ultimate to go bot lane or something like that. But I actually feel like it might have been a better strategy to try and freeze the Shen out and then use the Kane in order to snowball the Fiora.
Yeah, I don't know. It was once Amber got a lead, they just didn't let go of that lead, and they were able to keep it the entire time. So, kudos to them. Congrats to them for being able to do that, because it's not many teams that are able to do that. Even in pro play, even in the LCS, we see teams have like an 8,000 gold lead, and then they lose all that gold lead and lose the game. So,
Mhm.
it's not easy to keep a lead. Just
Yep.
because you have a lead doesn't mean you're going to keep it. Doesn't mean that you have the ability to keep it.
Yep. Yeah, very very strong showing from Amber. They definitely showed that they know how to close out games, which is definitely not common in a lot of our leagues. A lot of teams struggle with it, so that's something that is very commendable on their part.
Yeah, I'm messaging Amber02 right now. We're gonna see if anybody wants to join us for a little post game interview. If we don't get a post game interview, obviously, we'll just end the stream here. But I really want to see if we can at least talk to them for a little bit, because I want to know what went into their practices leading up to this match. I want to know what their thought process was for both of these games and their team comps.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, it looks like Zeralon wants to be that person. So we can head over there
Mhm.
real quick here. All right. Yeah, we'll all head over into the post game interview chat to talk to Zeralon to see what Zeralon's thoughts are about that game.
Hey, what's
Zeralon,
up?
hey, congratulations on your team's 2-0 victory here. First game of the season.
Thank you,
Congrats. You're
thank you.
you're you're officially in first place in Demacia as of right now this second.
Nice.
So yeah, I just want to ask a couple of questions about those two games there.
Shoot.
Just leading into this week's game, all the practices your team had. What was kind of your thought process just going into the match? Did everything, like, did all of your bans and picks kind of go according to plan in game one and two, where did you have to improvise a little bit because TSM kind of had some good bans on you guys or whatnot?
All right, so actually, we had a singular practice before this. And we were telling each other that we really need to work on comms. Our comms were amazing this game. I'm really proud of my team.
So everybody
Um,
kind of rose to the occasion.
yes, and um, the our bands, we actually sat down. We made 3 full drafts and full band phases in our Discord before the game. So we had everything scouted properly, and we executed what we wanted to.
All right, fair enough. Second question, I guess. We're like, how did you see game one versus game two going? Like what if any changes did you make after game one leading into game two for your picks and bans? Like, did you really have to change much for your game plan, or did it, or again, just like game one, everything kind of worked out the way you wanted it to?
Well, after game one, listening to the casters talk all that greatness about Kazuya, the jungler and myself wanted to make sure that we were known. So we put the jungler on Pantheon, more aggressive pick, and I just got the Kaisa in my hands. So the Quadra kill was there. It's out there. Ban my Kaisa.
Well, they did in game one.
Yeah.
So okay, all right, fair enough. I guess since you only had one team practice, how are you gonna prepare for your next match? Because now, like, you had all this time leading into week number one. Um, are you gonna be able to get more practice in before your next match, or is that something that you guys are already scheduling and working on?
We've already got our practices all scheduled for the future. The problem before was our schedules because it was still summer hours for most of us at work and school and the sort. So now that Labor Day has passed, we are all onto a much more lenient schedule. So we're looking forward to it.
All right, all right. Well, again, congratulations on the win. I don't have questions, so I don't know. Randomonium, do you have any?
What are your goals for this season?
Our goals for this season: not drop more than 2 games.
That's fair. That's
We're,
fair.
we're, we're clapping every team that comes into our path. That's that.
Ooh. Ooh, I like the confidence. I like it. Yeah. Well, you know what? I don't know when your team plays my team because we are in the same division. So I want
We
to
are.
see if our game is next week, because maybe you just talked a bunch of smack
I think it
to the
is,
guy
but
who's playing against you next week.
hey, listen, all I gotta say is ban the Kaisa, or else it's gonna be the run back.
Yeah,
So,
no, my team plays your team next week. Yeah.
all
Yeah.
right. I just want to let you know, Scatter, GG ahead of time.
Ooh, all right, all right, all right. GG doesn't necessarily like. I like that. You're being smart about that. You're not saying that you're gonna win next week. You're just already saying, hey, it'll be good no matter what, right?
Of course.
I like that. I like
I
that.
mean, I may have already said we're clapping every team that we play against, but
All right. Well, hey, I mean, good job tonight. I think even in you guys are still gonna find things to look at in those
of
matches and
course.
things to learn from, because
Yep.
everybody can always learn from these games. But
Every
I
single
one thing I was just really impressed by is that when you guys had an opening, you would take that opening and then you would just snowball that into getting more of an advantage and more of an advantage and more of an advantage. And once that snowball started, you didn't really let it stop ever. So, that's
Once you get
something
the
really
pressure,
good
just
to
gotta
hold on
apply
to.
it.
Yep.
All right. Well, I guess that's it for tonight's matches. Thank you, everybody who's still in the stream, for tuning in. Thank you for
Real quick,
watching
can
both
I say
games.
one more thing real quick?
Oh, sure. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
I just want to say TSM was a great game. Thank you for playing.
Yeah. No, awesome. Yeah, I mean, it's always great whenever we have like a new. I'm sure that they're going to get a lot of value experience from both of those games. I highly encourage everybody from TSM to watch those games back, either on this stream's VODs or when we upload it to YouTube, or even in the client, in your match history. However you get to look at those games, You'll find some things to learn. But with that, we're going to end the stream for tonight. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We will have some more games later on this week. This is not the only game being casted or streamed this week. I believe there is one game on the schedule tomorrow that will be streamed. So just pay attention to our Twitter, pay attention to our league server on Discord, and I guess we'll see you at the next stream. Have a good night, everybody. Can we talk now?
Yeah, all right, good.
Shadow.